Yo, what's up, Team Magic? Welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a mock expansion draft for the NHL. I'm going to be picking the players I think that the Las Vegas Golden Knights will be choosing. So let's get straight into it. Alright guys, we are here at the website that I'm going to be using to pick my team. I have all of the names that I want listed already right here. So really quickly, just a quick run over. The minimum 14 forwards, minimum 9 defensemen, minimum 3 goalies. So that leaves me with 4 extra picks that I can pick any position that I want. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. For the Anaheim Ducks, my pick is going to be Sami Vatanen. The reason I'm picking Sami Vatanen over Josh Manson is because Sami Vatanen has proved himself in the NHL more, and he's a consistent 20 to 30 point scorer every year. On to the Arizona Coyotes. The Arizona Coyotes is a tight race between Alexander Burmistrov, and Jamie McGinn. Now, the reason Brad Richardson is not in this talk is because he's kind of injury prone and he's a little bit older. Now, Jamie McGinn obviously brings a certain grit to the game. If you guys have ever watched highlights, he's a hard checker. He forechecks hard. But Alexander Burmistrov is younger, and I think he has more potential to come into this league. Well, he's already been in the league, but I think he has more potential to come in the league and do more damage than Jamie McGinn ever had the opportunity to do. So we're going to go with Alex Burmistrov for the Arizona Coyotes. For the Boston Bruins, guys, I don't really like the Boston Bruins. So it's going to be tough for me to pick a guy from this team. But because I'm forced to do it, I'm going to pick Drew Stafford. Now, why am I picking Drew Stafford over a guy like Zach Rinaldo, a guy who brings grit, over a guy like Matt Bolesky, a guy who's able to go out there and forecheck and backcheck, over Jimmy Hayes, a younger guy who can score? Because Drew Stafford scored, I believe he's had 21 points last season in 50 games, all right? Now, he was injured and he did get traded, but I have the utmost respect for Drew Stafford. He scored 52 points in the 2010-11 season, and he was able to just continue that. He went from 52 to 40 to 50 to 40. He's consistently good scorer. And because he played on a team like Boston, he was playing on the third line with players that can't really get him the puck that well. I think that's the reason for why he only scored, I believe it was 14 points with the Boston Bruins. So I think this year, playing on the second line with the Las Vegas Golden Knights, my prediction, he'll get at least 40 points this year. On to the Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames, I'm picking Troy Brouwer. Now, I'm picking Troy Brouwer over the other people because Troy Brouwer is, this is Troy Brouwer's competition. Listen to this. Matt Bartkowski, there's really no other defensemen that are, in the race, and Hunter Shinkaruk. Now, Hunter Shinkaruk is 22, 9 years younger than Troy Brouwer. But I have to say, Hunter Shinkaruk, from my experience of watching the Vancouver Canucks, he was drafted, I believe, I want to say 24th, but I'm not sure at all. Okay, Hunter Shinkaruk was drafted by the Vancouver Canucks, and he was with the Canucks organization for, I think it was 2 years, and he really didn't blossom. He didn't blossom. We gave him all the opportunity, and he didn't blossom. And I don't know what will make him blossom on the Golden Knights, especially playing on a team with, a weaker set of forwards. It's basically going to be a team of third liners, a team of fourth liners, right? I don't know what will make him become better playing on that team. And Troy Brouwer's already been established. He's got probably 5 more years in the league of consistent 20, 30-point games. Did I just say 20, 30-point games? 20, 30-point seasons. So that's why I'm going with Troy Brouwer. Alrighty. Oh, I skipped the Buffalo Sabres completely. Let's go back to the Buffalo Sabres then. Now, Buffalo Sabres is an easy decision, Zach Bogosian. Now, you guys might be looking at this expensive cap hit at $5,142,857. I don't think of it as a downside. Really, guys, you have to think about it like this. We have a minimum of $43.8 million and a maximum of $73. Now, you could pick almost all the guys with the most cap hit, and you're still probably not going to be over that cap. So, getting a guy who's 26 years old and is signed for the next 4 years at that amount of money, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Now, Zach Bogosian is a top 30 defenseman in the league. He can shut the best player on the ice down when he's on the ice, and he can run a power play. He can get the puck and he can send a boomer in, for the forwards to get in there and tip. So Zach Bogosian, another guy you could possibly think about picking is Cody Franzen, but I think Zach Bogosian, even though he is 3 years younger, has done more in the league and shown that he deserves a spot. Show that he should be picked over Cody Franzen just because Bogosian's able to bring that presence on the blue line. All right, so we did the Calgary Flames. Let's get on to the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes don't have much to offer here. They have Lee Stepniak, which is the best option, which is who I'm going to pick. They have Joakim Nordstrom. He played in the league about 25 games last year, scored 8 points. Not the greatest, right? They have Andrew Miller, has played in the ECHL his whole career. Connor Brickley, ECHLer. And all of these other guys, they just don't bring that oomph, right? Lee Stepniak is a career averaging 40-point scorer. 40 points consistently in the NHL is a very hard thing to do, especially when you're 34 years old. Now, yeah, we only probably get 2 to 3 years from Lee Stepniak, but 2 to 3 years with 40-plus points is an extremely good asset when you're going to have guys who are 29 years old scoring 20 points. You got a 35-year-old scoring 40 points. And I think that's a big plus. Play him on the second or third line, pass it to the younger guys, get the passes from the younger guys, and he can put the puck in the net. All right? On to the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago Blackhawks, without a question, Trevor Van Riemsdyk. I'm not going to touch the goaltending. The other defensive prospects just don't show you very much. Now, obviously, they do have Billy Polka. Now, Billy Polka is a Finnish player who, in the IIHF World Juniors about 4 years ago when I was watching it, he did show some very good potential. He showed some great potential, but I think Trevor Van Riemsdyk, playing in the AHL 2 years ago, he came up and played a few games in Chicago, but Trevor Van Riemsdyk is more of a proven player, has shown that he deserves that opportunity to play in the NHL, big leagues. Or maybe, he can be a depth guy, but I think Trevor Van Riemsdyk over Billy Polka. And Trevor Van Riemsdyk over Marcus Kruger as well. I was looking at the Sports Center mock drafts. They all got Marcus Kruger up there. I don't think so, man. A 27-year-old center at a $3 million cap hit, I just don't like it. Okay, I don't like it, because where is Marcus Kruger going to play? You put him on the fourth line, he's going to get ticked off. You put him on the third line, he might be good, but you already have good third-line centers that are going to come up, right? You want to have good defensive depth, because let's say a guy like Zach Bogosian or Sammy Vatanen gets hurt. Who do you call up? Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Boom. I just don't see Marcus Kruger being able to fill a position, any position on the team, without getting mad, right? Because obviously he is a third-line player, and putting him on the fourth line is just not good news. Not a good equation. So, for the Colorado Avalanche, there was a debate that I debated picking between two options. Option one, obviously, Mikhail Grigorenko. Now, Mikhail Grigorenko, let's check out his stats here. Grigorenko. Let's check out his stats here on the hockey database. Mikhail Grigorenko, born in 1994. Now, on the Colorado Avalanche last season, he scored 23 points, 10 goals, 13 assists in 75 games played. Now, obviously, that's not bad at all. A 23-year-old who can score around 25 points in the season, and last year scoring 27 points, that's great. That could be a serious help. And he's got probably another 15 years in the NHL. Yes, but Calvin Pickard, the goaltender, 25 years old, he's got another 10 years in the NHL, maybe even 15, is just a better option. Because when you look at your goalie options, you got Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously, Philip Grubauer, Calvin Pickard, Peter Mrazek. It's just there's very few strong goaltenders in this draft, and Calvin Pickard is one of them. So I'm going to go with Calvin Pickard over Mikhail Grigorenko because you want to have a guy who can stay with you, who can take Marc-Andre Fleury's place after that 3 or 4 year period that Marc-Andre Fleury decides to leave the league. So I'm going to go with Calvin Pickard. It was a heartfelt decision. It was a hard decision to make, but Mikhail Grigorenko is going to stay on the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know if he wants to do that, because I honestly believe that the Las Vegas Knights will be more competitive than the Colorado Avalanche next year, but what do I know? Okay, next team we have is the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets and we're thinking, wow, Jack Johnson's available. 30-year-old who's able to put the puck in the net, who's able to move the puck around. Wow, Joonas Korpisalo. Great record in the AHL 2 seasons ago. Great record in the AHL this year. And you're looking at Anton Forsberg. Wow, great record as a backup this year. You're looking at guys like Josh Anderson scoring 30-plus points this year. Wow, he's available. But if you look at SportsCenter, you look at NHL.com, there are rumors about a trade where the Columbus Blue Jackets trade the 24th overall pick to the Las Vegas Knights in exchange that the Las Vegas Knights do not pick Jack Johnson, Joonas Korpisalo, and Josh Anderson. So what? Right there, 1, 2, 3 top players from Columbus, no go. Right now, who are the next 2 best players? William Karlsson, Matt Calvert. The way I think of this, William Karlsson's younger and has less of a cap hit, and he's got more years to play, and I think is more proven than Matt Calvert. Even though he's only played 2 full years in the NHL, I think he's shown us that he deserves a chance here in the NHL more than on the Las Vegas Knights more than Matt Calvert. Because in 6 years, Calvert is going to be 33 years old. Yeah. In 6 years, Matt Calvert's going to be 33. In 6 years, William Karlsson's going to be 30. Hitting that 29, 30-year-old, you're hitting your prime. Calvert's going to be there in 3 years. Karlsson's going to be there in 6. And I think the way you have to think about it is the owner wants a cup in 6 years. I don't think you're going to win it in the first 5. I just don't. You'll be competitive, but you're not going to win a Stanley Cup in your first 5 years. So getting a guy like William Karlsson hitting his prime, not asking for too much money, right there, it's a perfect opportunity. So William Karlsson is my pick from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now on to the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars, not a lot of options. You have Dan Hamhuis. You have Kari Lehtinen. Kari Lehtinen with that $5 million cap, $6 million cap hit almost. There's just a no-go. Antti Niemi, 33 years old. It's a no-go, right? Cody Eakin and Dan Hamhuis, you're really your 2 picks right there. Dan Hamhuis being already 34 years old. He just, obviously, he's a proven defenseman, but he's not a guy that I would trust to throw out there against Sidney Crosby. A guy like Zach Bogosian is a guy that I would. So I'm going to go Cody Eakin over Dan Hamhuis because Cody Eakin is younger and is more proven, and he's gotten the opportunity to play with Jamie Benn, and playing with Jamie Benn really showed us what he can do. But, Jamie Benn does make everyone around him better, but I think Cody Eakin is the best player on the Dallas Stars who's available here. The Detroit Red Wings, wow. The Detroit Red Wings have some amazing possibilities here. You got Peter Mrazek. You got Jared Coreau. Okay? Now, Jared Coreau played about, 10 games this year, and the way you could see it, I think he had about like a 6 or maybe a 5-5 record. Coreau, coming out of the AHL, played extremely well. Peter Mrazek also had a very good season, a breakout season really for him. But when I think about it, I think Calvin Pickard hasn't gotten an opportunity to blossom in Colorado. I think Peter Mrazek has gotten to play 3+ years where he's gotten to play 40+ games. And he's consistently winning 22. Now Calvin Pickard, who's the same age but has a cheaper cap hit, you can kind of test the waters, okay? So I'm not going to pick Peter Mrazek because, number 1, attitude issues. Number 2, I think that Calvin Pickard has just a better chance of blossoming because Peter Mrazek has hit that point where I think he's going to stay the same the way through. When I saw what was going to happen. When I saw that the Detroit Red Wings had protected Jimmy Howard, I fell out of my chair. I went like this. I was really expecting them to protect Peter Mrazek. Jimmy Howard, let's see, how old is Jimmy Howard? How old are you, Jimmy Howard? I mean, I think Jimmy Howard's 35 years old? 33 years old. Peter Mrazek is 8 years younger than Jimmy Howard. Peter Mrazek has had a better record throughout the last 3 seasons than Jimmy Howard. So it's an obvious pick. Peter Mrazek over Jimmy Howard. But from what SportsCenter says, from what TSN says, Peter Mrazek has an attitude issue. And what makes you think that Peter Mrazek coming to a team that's probably not going to be super competitive for the next 5 years is going to make his attitude any better? So I'm not going to go with Peter Mrazek, nor am I going to go with Nicholas Kronwall, because Kronwall won 2 years, he's out of the league, he's done. He's 36 years old. And I think the best possible pick here is either Riley Sheahan or Peter Mrazek, and because of Peter Mrazek's issues, I'm going with Riley Sheahan. Because when you put Riley Sheahan on the power play, he's able to get the puck in the net. You couldn't see it this year because they had him playing third line with guys who can't get him the puck. It's sad to see a guy with that much talent playing on the third line. So I think he comes to Las Vegas and possibly be the second line center. But that could potentially be Cody Eakin's job, right? All right. Now on to the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, almost nothing available here. You look at the forwards, you don't see anything special. You look at the defense, you really don't see anything special, but then ding, 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 Chris Russell. Wow, Chris Russell is a guy who's able to move the puck. He's not the best scorer, but he's able to move the puck. Now, having a guy like Chris Russell, a lefty, who's able to move the puck, and the righty, Sami Vatanen, who's able to score the puck, you would think that's an obvious choice. Russell to Vatanen. Russell to Vatanen. Boom, boom. That's a goal, right? Russell to Vatanen. So obviously Chris Russell is the best available player. Although he is a UFA, I think he's the best available player on the Edmonton Oilers. I wouldn't take Benoit Pouliot or Iiro Pekarainen. It's just Chris Russell. Chris Russell. It's Chris Russell. What can I say? Let's move on here to the Florida Panthers. Now, the Florida Panthers have some really good stuff available. Roberto Luongo is available. 38 years old. Out of the question. Jason Demers is available. But Jason Demers is more of a defensive defenseman. We already have Zach Bogosian. We don't need Jason Demers. Demers is older. We can get better defensemen who will grow later in this draft. So defensively, you're not going to pick anybody. Now let's get to the forwards. Oh boy, Florida has some of the best forwards available in the whole draft, the whole expansion draft. Number 1, you got Riley Smith, 26 years old, scoring 41 points this season. Number 2, you got Jonathan Marchessault, 26 years old, scoring 60-something points this season. Jonathan Marchessault is a 30-goal scorer. Riley Smith is a 20-goal scorer. Who do you go with? Obviously, Jonathan Marchessault. Not even a question. Okay? For the Los Angeles Kings, my original pick was going to be Nick Dowd. But why? Why would you go with Nick Dowd? A guy who's going to play in the AHL and playing first-line center in the AHL? No, it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to go with Brayden McNabb. Now, you might be thinking, Dustin Brown is a very good leader. He could lead your team. Well, Dustin Brown is also signed through 2022 at $5.8 million. You might as well pay that guy $10 million for the next 4 years. He's not worth his cap. Now, I said, yes, you should pick those guys, but this guy is 32 years old. You're going to be paying him $5 million when he's 38 years old. And he's gonna be on a cane walking into the rink, sitting in the bleachers while he watches you practice. I don't want to be doing that, right? I don't want to be paying a guy $6 million to sit in the bleachers in 4 years from now. So Brayden McNabb, 26 years old at a 1.7 cap hit, definitely the obvious choice here. On to the Minnesota Wild. There's two routes you can go here, guys. There's definitely two routes you can go here. You have Eric Stahl available. You have Chris Stewart available. You have Eric Howla available. 32, 29, and 26. Those are your top forwards right there. They're all pretty much past the point where you're going to start, where you're going to grow. Okay? So they're pretty much all set players. Eric Stahl, 60-point season. Not bad. He is 32 years old, though. Now, would you go with Eric Stahl, or would you go with Matt Dumba? Matt Dumba being a 22-year-old defenseman who has shown he can be a top forward pairing. He can be on the top 4D pair, and he can shut people down. Do you go with a 60-point scorer, or do you go with a shutdown defenseman who's got another 15 to 16 years in the NHL? I think it's simple. Now, when we're talking about Hunter Shinkaruk or Troy Brouwer, Hunter Shinkaruk hasn't shown what he can do. Matt Dumba has shown what he can do. I'm going with Matt Dumba. Anybody who goes with anybody besides Matt Dumba, their goal is to get some offensive firepower. But the only really defensive guy that jumps out is Matt Dumba, right? Marco Scandella? No. What has he done? He hasn't had the same impact on the Minnesota Wild as Matt Dumba has, and Matt Dumba has been on the Wild for the last 2 years. I mean, he got drafted by Minnesota, but he's played for the last 2 years. Scandella's played for the last 4 years. What has he done? Nothing. On to the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens, guys, this is a really interesting one. Check it out. You got some really nice guys here. You got Brandon Davidson, probably the best defensive prospect. You got Thomas Buchanan, probably the most skilled forward that they have available. Or you could give that to Alexander Radulov, and you have Charles Hudon. Who is Charles Hudon? Charles Hudon is a guy who can absolutely rock the AHL. He's been doing it for the last 3 years, and to be honest with you, I think Charles Hudon could be in a very strong pick for the Las Vegas Knights. But we still need to fill up some of those spots on the forward core. And first line right winger is not filled yet. Who do we have that can play on the first line? Nobody. Alexander Radulov played on the second line for Montreal last season, or maybe he played on the first line, but I know he played in the top 6. Alexander Radulov is the obvious pick here, right? But he is a UFA. Now that could be scary because we know Alexander Radulov has a feeling to jump over to KHL when he doesn't feel comfortable. And he can jump right back, become another UFA, and just go right back to the Montreal Canadiens, right? So you got to be careful with Alexander Radulov. You got to sweet talk him, but Alexander Radulov is definitely the guy you want to take from the Montreal Canadiens. Nashville, oh my goodness, Nashville. The Nashville Predators have probably the best options for 100%. You have James Neal, 50-point scorer. Craig Smith, 37-point scorer. Colin Wilson, 35-point scorer. Cody McLeod, get out of here. Colton Sissons, 23-year-old, 20-point scorer. You got Trevor Smith, get out of here, right? You also got Pontus Aberg and Mike Fisher. Now, I don't even think there's a question here. Defensively, you really got nobody because they protected their top 4. It's got to be James Neal. I mean, who else are you going to get? Craig Smith, Colin Wilson, yeah, they're a little bit younger, but James Neal is the best pick for sure here. I mean, he's got more points, more experience, and a Stanley Cup on his shoulders. 100% the guy you want on your team. On to the New Jersey Devils. My pick from the New Jersey Devils is Bo Bennett. Why am I picking Bo Bennett, the sniper who has gotten injury after injury after injury? Well, because, number one, he can give me some depth. He can jump in on the 4th line, then get injured, and then have the guy who was injured before come back in. He can give me some depth. He can play in the AHL. He can show, he can get points, okay? He's a sniper. He can score. So he's the best option here for New Jersey, unless you're looking for a guy like John Merrill, a shutdown defenseman. But I think we have enough shutdown defensemen, right? I'm going with Bo Bennett for this pick. I think he's the best available player for New Jersey. Devontae Smith-Pelly maybe, but he hasn't really done anything the last 3 years of his career. On to the New York Islanders, guys. The New York Islanders have some really nice talent. Brock Nelson, 48 points. But the one that really stands out is Josh Bailey with 56 points this year, 26 goals. Are you kidding me? You let a 50-point scorer go to the freaking available list. How do you have a 50-point scorer? You're just letting a 50-point scorer get drafted by the Las Vegas Golden Knights. No, actually, that's wrong. Ryan Strome. Ryan Strome, 23 years of age, scoring 26 points in 57 games. Ryan Strome, hallelujah! That's your first-line center in the next 2 years. Ryan Strome, yeah, you might want to go with Josh Bailey, you might want to go with Brock Nelson, but Ryan Strome's 23. Ryan Strome can score 20 points. Ryan Strome is the answer, okay? Ryan Strome is definitely the guy you want to have. New York Rangers, Antti Raanta is a great option. Not going to lie, he is a great option, but I think Grubauer is a better goaltender than Antti Raanta. You don't get to see it much. You just hear Holtby. But Philip Grubauer is a shutdown goalie. He can come in when the Capitals need him, and he can stop that puck. And I think I'm going to take Grubauer over Antti Raanta, and for that reason, the only player that's really jumping out at me is Michael Grabner. Draft pick of the Vancouver Canucks, actually. Ottawa Senators. Who do I go with? I go with Mark Mathot. Why do I go with Mark Mathot over a guy like Chris Weidman or a guy like Bobby Ryan or a guy like Clark MacArthur? Well, my friends, I just scrolled way far up. Well, my friends, let me explain to you what I am doing here. Bobby Ryan, folks. Let me get up. Let me stand up. Let me tell you what he's making for the next 5 years. $7,225,000 or $7,250,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a huge contract for a guy who only scored 26 points in the regular season. Now, don't get me wrong, he did back it up in the playoffs, but that's not the best pick from Ottawa. I really don't think so. With Dion Phaneuf denying to waive his no-move clause, Mark Mathot became available, and Mark Mathot is the best defenseman from Ottawa that's available. And I'm going to go with Mark Mathot over Bobby Ryan because Bobby Ryan, again, I did say the cap's not that big of a problem, but Bobby Ryan's contract is just too crazy to look at. Who do I pick on the Philadelphia Flyers? I pick Michael Del Zotto because Michael Del Zotto is a guy who can come in, play on the offense, play on the defense, forecheck, back check. He's the best defenseman available for the Flyers. McDonald's, his time has passed. Even though he's only 30, when he was on the Blues, man, he was a legend. Now, no. Okay, Michael Del Zotto is an easy pick there. Pittsburgh Penguins. Not even going to say anything. Just Marc-Andre Fleury, that's all I have to say. San Jose Sharks, I'm going to stay away from the goaltending, stay away from the defense, although some people might argue Brendan Dillon is a good pick. I'm still going to go with Mikhail Bodker because I think Bodker brings a certain sense of scoring into the game. He's scored 20 goals before in his career and, potentially maybe 15-goal season with the Golden Knights next year. That's very possible because he had a 13-goal season this year. 15 is within reach. 20 is a little bit farther away, but we can do it, right? He can do it. St. Louis Blues. Who would I go with the St. Louis Blues? David Perron. I'm going with David Perron for the St. Louis Blues. Now, when I first did this, I was thinking Nail Yakupov, but I don't want to go with Nail Yakupov. Yeah, he's a first overall pick. Yeah, he's 23 years old, but Nail Yakupov was unable to do what he needed to do in Edmonton, and he's unable to do what he needed to do in St. Louis. He can't put the puck in the net, and he can't pass the puck. Why do I want a guy like that on my team? I don't. If I'm George McPhee, I'm passing on Nail Yakupov, and I'm taking David Perron for sure. He's a 29-year-old who can put the puck in the net and who can pass the puck. Him and Alex Steen on that same line, they were passing it. They were getting it going. I like the way they work. I love watching the St. Louis Blues play. And David Perron is one of my favorite players to watch because he's so dynamic. He brings so much to the game. Nail Yakupov, not so much. Now on to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning, I'm going with Jake Dotchin. Why am I going with Jake Dotchin? Because Jake Dotchin, in the late part of the season, you got to watch Jake Dotchin play. Yeah, he did take a stick to the groin, and then yeah, he did give someone else a stick to the groin. But Jake Dotchin is a great defenseman. 5 years from now, he's going to be a top 2 defenseman in the NHL. 100%, no doubt about it. I guarantee you, if he's not playing on the top 2 defensemen on any team in the next 5 years, I'll give you $100. Straight up, I'll give you $100. Andre Schuster, another guy that I would potentially go for, but he's just Jake Dotchin has better potential, so I'm going to go with Jake Dotchin. All right, Toronto Maple Leafs. This is going to be a very controversial pick. I'm going to guarantee it. I'm going with Seth Griffith. Now, before you guys say Brendan Leipsic, Josh Leivo, let me show you this man's stats from the AHL. Seth Griffith. I mean, you're not going to believe what this guy can do in the AHL. Now, stop. Let's think here. In the 2015-16 NHL season with the Providence Bruins, in 57 games, he was able to score 77 points. Of those 77, 24 were goals, 53 were assists. He knows how to pass the puck, and he knows how to put the puck in the net. He's not gotten a chance to really play in the NHL yet. But, I mean, last year, playing for the Toronto Marlies, 38 games played, 44 points. He knows how to score. Of those, 10 were goals, 34 were assists. He's obviously a playmaker, but a good playmaker that you can call up for depth. Call up for depth. And he's my guy. He's the guy I'm picking from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Vancouver Canucks, Lucas Visa. I'm not going to debate on that one too much because a lot of people have been picking Brendan Gaunce. No, I don't see it. Brendan Gaunce is not the best player available. Lucas Visa is a shutdown guy, brings a little bit of grit. You can put him on the penalty kill. He's a defensive defenseman, and he can stop the puck. He'll knock you over, and then he'll ice the puck on the penalty kill. He's not afraid to do it. He's not afraid to get hit. Lucas Visa is definitely the best available player here. Washington Capitals, I've been saying it all video. Jay Beagle would be nice, but Philip Grubauer, he is the backup goalie. Philip Grubauer is probably one of the best backup goalies in the NHL, in my opinion. And the last pick, we have come to about 35 minutes in this video. Marco Dano. The Winnipeg Jets just signed Marco Dano to a 2-year contract, which would finish his year out at 17-18. Guys, Marco Dano, oh my goodness. The amount of just pure goal-scoring ability in his blood, man. It's amazing. Let's check out these stats. Marco Dano, born in 1994. Okay, I don't like the way this is getting too big. Okay, so check this out. He's able to get the puck in the net. 38 games played, 11 points. Yeah, he's 22 years old. 11 points in 38 games? Mr. Hockey Magic, 22 years old. But it's 22 years old. He's able to score 10 plus points at 22. He should still be in the freaking juniors, man. This guy is something real. Marco Dano, and the reason I'm picking him over Toby Enstrom is because Toby Enstrom's cap hit is pretty crazy, and I know Toby Enstrom's not going to want to sign back. He's just going to go right back to the Winnipeg Jets after free agency. So Marco Dano is my guy. So let's go ahead and check out what we have here. We'll press that, and let's look at the team. Our team meets all of the requirements. We are 21 contracts that go over into the 17-18 season. We have a $62 million cap hit. And 17 forwards, 10 defensemen, 3 goalies. So guys, here is the final look at our team. Check it out. Take your screenshots. If you like this video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share. I will see you all next time. Peace.